everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC in Christ Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television two different ways: North Alabama Channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So we've really grown. I was talking with Rob Patz about this the other day. He made the announcement about 2 weeks ago. We're going to be full-blown in Australia coming up pretty soon. And that's going to mean about 1 million more watchers and listeners. So we're happy about that. Yeah. And thanks to Rob for making this happen. Thanks, Rob. You're a good dude. Absolutely. Well,
just don't tell him you said that.
Yeah. Don't tell him, because if he knows I like him, it might ruin the whole thing. You know what I mean? You have to pick on the dude. You have to do that. I have a couple of guests with me right now. Tonja Rose and Lance Driskell. I've interviewed them several times. And it's so good to be with you guys again. Now, you're taking another direction. So tell me about this.
Well, Lance, go ahead, dude. Tell them about this.
We met at an event. I believe the first time I met you, Miss Donna, was at the Southern Gospel Weekend in Oxford, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And that's where Tonja, Jessica, and myself first met. Tonja and Jessica knew each other prior. I was kind of the new kid on the block, and just kind of sitting out there listening to them sing and minister. I actually said from the stage, I said, the only thing I want to get out of this weekend is be able to sing with Tonja and Jessica. And a couple of weekends later, we were back at another event, one of Rob's events up in Pigeon Forge, and one of us were about to go on. Tonja, I don't remember who said what it was, but
remember either.
So we all kind of got talking, and they said, "Hey, well, we're about to go on. Why don't we figure up a song to sing?" And so we literally walked into a closet and put together a medley of "I Love You, Lord" and "Sweet, Sweet Spirit," I think is what the first one we did, maybe. And so we sang. I can't remember who said it was. I want to say it may have been my set, but I sang a couple of songs, brought the girls on, and we just kind of started there, and it's kind of snowballed a little bit, but so we're one identity. Kind of our focus is each of our individual ministries, each of our individual stories kind of come together for one identity, one goal, one mission. It's kind of what we're doing.
Love it, and I love the name. I think that's really awesome. But I remember that event. Now, my old stomping grounds are Oxford, Alabama. That's where I'm from. Yeah. And so it was so amazing to get, and I loved being with you guys. I thought it was so awesome. But getting together like that, I think it's really great.
Yeah, we're crazy like that.
And that would sound like something I would do. Oh, let's just do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and all three of us kind of have that mentality. Well, okay, well let's just do it, let's go.
Yeah. I've sang with a lot of people. I guess just real hard for me to keep a job, but I've sang with a ton of really talented people. But I can say this unequivocally: I have never sang with two individuals as talented as these two.
Oh, wow.
From and that's back with my hand up, as Wendy Bagwell used to say. There is nothing musically that we've tried to do that we couldn't pull off. And that may sound conceited, and I don't mean it that way. And I'm just a guy, I tote speakers. That's about as far as I can go. But these two ladies are ridiculously talented. And then they write phenomenal music, and just sitting on the stage with them, getting to share with them and hearing their heart, it's very different than anything else that that gospel music has done in a while.
Well,
in my
there's
opinion.
synergism between the three of you, and that's what you got to have. You got to have synergism.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those sweet words, Lance, but you sell yourself quite a bit short, because Lance is he's a pretty talented individual himself. And he's got a powerful, powerful testimony. And with One Identity, well, first and foremost, let me just let you guys all know that this is just something that we come together and do every once in a while. Like, we haven't run to the studio. We haven't, cut an album or anything like that. We haven't done anything like that. We just come together when somebody wants us to come and visit their church. We share our testimonies, we share our music. Then, like Lance said, we come together and do some songs as a group. But we want it to be more organic, and not like, we know when we walk on that stage what we have planned to sing, but that may not be where the Spirit leads, and we may not end up doing what we planned on doing. And that's kind of what we want it to be, because God works so mysteriously in our lives, and we think we're going one way and he veers us another. So there's no form or fashion or plan to our lives, and we kind of want One Identity to be like that. We just want to get up there on stage, express what God's done for us in our lives and how he's brought us through so many things, and let others know that that's something that he can do in their lives. And if the music changes along the way, then we change with it. We don't have any dance steps or any routines or spins or dips or anything. We just kind of stand up there. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not what we do when we're together as a group. We just kind of just feel the atmosphere and read the people, and just kind of let God take over.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys have been through different avenues in your life, different cycles. And so do you think all of that happened so you can get to where you are right now?
Absolutely. My best friend told me one time, God never wastes a hurt. And, the accumulation of hurts between the three of us, though small in comparison to what a lot of people walk through, for us, that was the biggest thing happening for us in our lives at that time. And God has truly turned that into something that, we're now comfortable sharing with other people and ministering to other people about.
I think your key word right there was just comfortable. You're comfortable with it. And people know that. They pick up on that. I picked up on that with you guys during the interviews.
Yeah. And I think people can, I know I can, when I'm watching somebody else, I can tell there's just something, I call it my God instinct. People call it their gut instinct. I call it my God instinct. When something's just not, I don't know if that's quite right or quite real. And that's something we try to portray and be 100% authentic with on stage, is our testimonies, what God's done. And I know I haven't seen Lance get through one yet without really, succumbing to his emotions. And I get emotional when I do when I tell mine. And I mean, it's just, there's no fluff to it. It's just what God's done, and we're just telling people. And we just happen to sing in the process. So
yeah,
for us, I guess what I'm trying to say for One Identity, and I talk a lot, Lance knows this, I guess for One Identity, for me personally, it's the testimony, then the music.
Yeah.
The music's the filler.
Well, we're in a world full of fake. I mean, it's just fake this, fake that. Yeah. And people are pretty tired of it. They want real. They want something that they can actually touch. It's not real. So I think you guys are on the right track here.
Thank you. And we don't, we've got 2 concerts coming up, and that's all we've got scheduled for the rest of the year. We didn't go chase it. We didn't go beat down doors to try to get in. And I think that taking that approach, that God's going to open doors that need to be opened for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to work. I've done that before. I've been in the corporate world before. And I'm going to tell you,
that's your heart.
Corporate world, when I left that and then came back to just doing things my way, I mean, God's way, but but
Yeah.
not having to jump through hurdles and stuff like that. And my husband said, "Nice to have you back." I said, "I've been here the whole time." And he said, "No,
No, not really.
So, and it's nice. And to be in your own skin is something too, to be you and not
Yeah.
have to be different. Jessica Muse, is from Alabama. And so she was up in the top three. Slap out Alabama, by the way. And she was in the top three, in American Idol. And so I've had her on the show several times. And she said, they tried to make me not be me. And she said, I'm just not a dancer. And they wanted her to dance. And she said, all I want to do is sing. And she wasn't one of the judges' favorites. You could tell because she just didn't want to go by the status quo. She didn't want to be led around by the nose. She just wanted to sing and let that be it. Yeah. And that's what I'm digging out of you two.
No, well, thank
you. Actually, you three.
Yeah, and we missed Jessica this morning. She woke up not feeling well, so she wasn't able to join us this morning. So that's why she's not here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we could talk about her if we wanted to.
Yeah, let's talk about her. Let's talk about how I wish she could sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Jessica starts singing, me and Tonja just look at each other and it's just so natural. And
it is. I mean, she reminds me so much of Alison Krauss, because Alison Krauss can stand on the stage and she opens her mouth this much, and
all that
what comes out is just. When I sing, I have to tear my whole face up and mouth open this wide, and
No,
Jessica's just over there going.
Right here.
I didn't get that impression at all. But I was watching her when they called her come up there, and it was almost like they just called her and she just went up there. And so she goes up to the piano and just lets it flow. But you two did the same thing. I mean, you just let it be. You just let it flow.
I guess when we're in the middle of it, it don't feel like that, or doesn't for me. What about you, Lance? Like, I don't feel like we just walked up there and sat down and sang. But I guess if she said that's what it looked like, that's what it looked like. So
I've been a part of a lot of stuff that didn't happen as easily, and I think that's what we portray. Maybe that comes across. We seldom have to worry about parts, and we seldom have to, we're just trying to figure out how we want the song to go. And I think our comfort level with each other is one of the things that maybe everybody picks up on. It's just easy to sing. We don't do a whole bunch of, crazy, arrangement type stuff. But we are super comfortable with each other. And that goes a step farther, that our families are comfortable with each other. I mean, everybody literally shows up here to my house. We hang out for a weekend. We, do all kinds of just goofing off and rehearsing. The last time everybody, we were just hanging out. Tonja had her piano. Jessica had her guitar. I'm over here playing the radio because that's about all I'm good at. And we just are comfortable. Our families, our spouses are sitting here just hanging out. And that's just different. It's very different for me. So
yeah,
I think that may be what comes across.
And I think some of that comfortableness comes from the fact that we're not chasing anything, Donna. We're not trying to be the next big trio. We're not trying to get the next #1 song. I mean, we can't. We ain't got one out to put out there. So it's just three friends who are like siblings, kind of, getting together and just having fun and doing what God created us to do. I don't know how to do anything else but sing. So, and I think that lends some of the ease to the comfortableness, other than us just all getting along. We all have the same sense of humor. And, we're not chasing anything. We're not trying to be, we're just being.
Well, something else I've noticed about you guys, because at our station, it's listener driven. The listeners are actually the boss of us. They tell us what to play. So we have a top 25. And what I notice is when you guys are in the top 25, you're encouraging everybody but you. I mean, you're encouraging and telling, congratulations to all the winners of the. I mean, I've just noticed you guys do that. And I noticed that also at the event is that it wasn't about you both. And I'm not saying that just because you're here. I mean, I'm a watcher. I mean, I watch folks, and I don't promote anybody. The listeners do that on their own.
Oh, wow.
And so what's pretty cool, we just decided to be different at the station. But what I noticed is at the event in Oxford, you were like rooting other people. A lot of singers don't do that.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
I mean, we're all one, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we're not competitors.
No. And I think that's where a lot of people look at ministry in a not so flattering light. I think we forget that it's ministry. Mm-hmm. So,
one of the best things about events like Southern Gospel Weekend is we have a chance to sit and listen. Mm-hmm. And if you'll allow yourself, you can be ministered to.
Absolutely.
And I said that carefully because you have to be open for it. You have to be open to it. And if I'm sitting here and I'm critiquing, a Greg Sullivan or a Clear Vision or somebody like that or whoever, whatever their name is, a Tonja Rose, I'm not going to be ministered to. Right. I will not be ministered to. And I remember I was sitting leaned up against the back wall, and Tonja was singing, just her on the piano, and it literally just got all over me. And I was in the back squalling like a 3-year-old, because and when I cry, I can't like just shed a tear. It's like, and it's not even really ugly cry. It's the next step above ugly. There's stuff just pouring out of me. But my wife just kind of reached over there and she just kind of grabbed my arm and patted it. And I mean, Tonja was singing my story. It was like, I'm not who I used to. I literally was this person, and now I'm this person, and it just reinvigorated my entire life. Even at the point where I wasn't really in the middle of any struggle. I wasn't in the middle of any trial or you're struggling with any type of major sin or whatever the case may be. I don't get way off into something like that, but Tonja's song just at that moment reminded me of all of that, of the previous me, and now the me that's just covered in grace, covered in change, covered in forgiveness and peace. Good gracious, all the peace. And if you allow yourself, you can be ministered to, regardless of how great or well written a song is. It doesn't matter about that. If it's God inspired, and if you go in with the right heart, right attitude, you can be ministered to.
Yeah, absolutely. And when
just all of it. Go ahead, Tonja.
I'm sorry. And just to add to that, whenever I sit down, and I'm not trying to make this about me, so please don't think that, but whenever I go in to sit down and write a song, whether it's by myself or with somebody, before I walk into that room, I always pray, God, what do you need for your people, your babies, your children to hear? And when we wrote that song back in 2018, I think, my co-writer had a specific reason for writing that. I had a specific reason for writing that, and none of it was about Lance because we didn't know Lance at that time, but God did. And God knew in 2020 or 2021 or whenever it was that COVID messed me up. You know, God knew that that song would needed to be sung that day, and that, you know, that kind of is the tipping off point for all of us getting together that weekend. So, you know, people don't give God as much credit, I don't think, as they should, because, you know,
Well, his time is not like ours.
no.
And sometimes, I
Yeah.
mean, I know people who have written poems or if they've written books, and much later in life it became
Mhm.
successful. And they said, I just threw that in a back closet one day and didn't think much about it. Didn't seem to grab any appeal. And then just all of a sudden, bang, 10 years later, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God's timing is not like ours. So,
No.
No.
but to be real, and I mean, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for real.
Well, they'll get it with us, believe me.
Yeah.
Probably more real than they want.
Oh man.
We don't sugarcoat.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, we
Lance doesn't. I tried a little bit, but
Lance doesn't. I would think
oh
Lance.
no, Lance lays it out there, buddy. Lays it out there. And that's good. People need that, you know?
Well, I mean, if you're about to fall off a cliff, you would hope that you've got friends who love you enough
Right.
to tell you, you know.
Reach you and grab you and pull you back, even if it's by the hair.
Yeah. And that's just another part of being real,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
caring about other folks. So where do you see this team going? Or can you see?
Right now, I don't see it going past October the 22nd when we're in South Carolina or Georgia or wherever it is. But that's from our view.
Yeah.
You know, if something comes up and somebody wants us to come and visit their church or event or whatever, we'll do our best to make it happen. But like I said, we're not chasing down any, you're not running down any paths, beating down any doors. This is so organic. There's only one person that can lead it, and he's not walking with us down here. He's
Yeah,
walking
but
with
that's
us
what
up.
makes it successful. And then you have to think about people like me. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not a singer. I'm an interviewer. So I'm on the outside looking in. And when Paula told me that you guys are going to be on the show today and that you guys had put a group just actually formed, it just came from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, it feels right. So have you ever it just feels right? This feels good.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah. It does with us three. And I keep saying us three, but it's so much more this our families. I keep wanting to say that. You know, my wife Erin, she just laughs a lot at us because we're like three teenagers. And I guess Ward, he's just sitting over there going, Lord, just help me hold them down, just because we're wanting to take off, and Ward, he's just like, okay,
Listen,
now
y'all.
let's think. And so our families, and you know, of course, David, he's a big part of it. We talk on Zoom or whatever it is that we talk on all the time, and you know, it's new and it's fresh. And it just feels right for all of us just to be together and sing whenever, however,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
it just
I
does
guess-
feel right for us.
I guess in a nutshell, Donna, is whatever comes next for this group, if God opens the door, then what do you do? Say, no, can't right now.
No.
So we'll just see what happens. We'll see where he leads it, where he takes it.
You know, we keep talking about real and what real is, but you guys actually don't mind telling your testimony, you know, things that have happened in your life, good or bad or whatever. And people are listening. They're listening for things like that, because I'm sure when people go to events, I know I've hit some rocks before. And then you go to an event and you're not really expecting to hear something, but then it'll just kind of hit you, you know,
Yeah.
like a ton of bricks. And people need that. We need to be awakened.
Yeah. And you know, I don't, like I refer back to what I said earlier, God never wastes a hurt. You know, I think when somebody walks through stuff that we've walked through before, you know, obviously there's some healing that needs to take place. And but in mine and Ward's situation, we truly feel like the things that have happened to us since 2016 is something that we're not supposed to keep to ourselves. Now, has things gotten easier? Ward's had 2 major strokes and 2 mini strokes since 2016, but I don't want people to think, okay, well, this major thing happened. Now everything's good and dandy and everything's perfect and they're good. That's not what we're saying when we go out and share our testimony. We're just saying that he never promised that the road would be easy, but he did promise that he would be there right with you the entire way. And he'll be there for you to lean on if you will allow it.
Yep.
And, why would you not share that with people? If you've got a room full of people, my dad says he never misses an opportunity to tell somebody about Jesus. And sometimes I just get this knot in my stomach thinking of all the times that I missed, the opportunities that I missed to tell people what God's done in my life, or even just to say, hey, do you know Jesus? Do you know this man? And I'm at the point in my life where bad things have happened, good things have happened, and I'm going to praise Jesus for all of it. And I'm going to tell people about it.
Well, sometimes we shy away from bad things that happen.
Yeah.
Like my dad is a minister. And so he and my mom got a divorce when I was 25 years old. And I'm sitting here thinking I'm the only person whose dad was a minister and they got a divorce. Well, come to find out, I'm not the only person.
Yeah.
I'm not that unique. I'm not that special. And so, but I'm asking God, why are you making this happen? Because it was like a scandal and all this stuff, just horrible stuff. Then later on, a few years like things died down a little bit. When it happens in a minister's family, it's like, So a friend of mine, her parents were having a problem, and her dad was a minister. And so she walked up to me one day and she said, you had to go through what I'm going through right now. How did you handle it? And it was like, oh, so that's why I had to go through this, so I could help her.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everything can happen.
Yeah.
You can always help other folks. Absolutely.
Amen. Amen.
Guys, we got about 1 minute and 37 seconds left in this segment. How can folks find out more about you and your dates that you're going to be out there singing? How can we find it?
Well, that's a good question because we don't have a Facebook page. We don't have a website. We don't have any of that.
Tell me, I'll get it out there.
Well, if you go to our individual music pages, Lance Driskell Music, Jessica Hort Music, Tonja Rose Music, we'll put the dates up underneath our events, and it'll just start off with one identity. So they'll know, okay, this isn't just Lance, this isn't just Tonja, this isn't just Jessica, this is one identity. And if people want to reach out to us about coming to their church and visiting and sharing, an hour's worth of ministry and testimony, reach out to us, private messages, do whatever, we'll get back with you. So we are dealing with 3 different people, 3 different states. So sometimes that gets a little tricky, but in most cases, we really try to make it work. So
thank Jesus above for Zoom.
Hey.
2 years ago, I didn't know what Zoom was.
I know, me either. Now it's a part of daily life.
That's right.
Now, but thank you guys for being on the show, and best of luck to you. I know you're going to be great. Can't wait to see y'all again.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and go to a commercial break. We'll be back with another awesome, super awesome guest as well. Thank you, guys. Bye.